Hey folks, how we doing out there? Cyberneticshark here, live with the MCU'S Bleeding Edge to talk about a great movie tonight. We want to welcome everyone for watching us here today. It's November 21st, Friday, of course, and we're here to talk about the second film in the John Wick series, John Wick Chapter 2. Oh yeah. So after the success of John Wick Chapter 1, we had John Wick Chapter 2 come out 3 years later, 4 years later, maybe even. And this film was just absolutely dynamic. You know, I feel this is up there along the reins of like great sequels like Terminator 2 and etc. This is the high caliber this film is, because it went from kind of a action-packed, kind of dramatic film to more of just stone cold action-packed films. And each film has gotten crazier and crazier. And I think this one really starts and amps up that feeling for us with this John Wick Chapter 2. So, of course, you know, John Wick Chapter 2 is just an absolute dynamite film, folks, of course, you know. But as always, we have a loyal and wonderful panel with us tonight. Of course, we have Andres, the pop culture guy. How we doing, Andres?
Pretty good. Very awesome. Very excited to talk about the sequel to one of the best action films, John Wick.
Excellent. Great to have you, sir. And then, of course, as always, we have the greatest MC of them all, the wonderful and amazing, the awesome, the best co-host you could have, Mr. Jeff S. How we doing, Jeff?
Well, I mean, I'm good, Cyber, for the most part, besides my elevated heart rate and everything. But like, I'm not a pussy, you know, so I'll like toughen it out and power through this movie review and everything. But in general, sir, I'm very blessed and very thankful to be here with you gentlemen and talk about interesting stuff like John Wick 2.
Excellent. Good to have you here, sir. And as always, you know, it's just great to have everyone here on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge and to talk about movies. All right. So John Wick Chapter 2, which came out in 2017, directed by, of course, Chad Stahelski, written by Derek Kolstad, which based on the characters by Derek Kolstad. And Chad Stahelski co-directed the first film with the awesome Derek Kolstad. And so this time around, he is the sole director on this one. But this film, for the budget it had, which was $40 million, ended up bringing in $174.3 million in 2017. And I think that's a pretty good, decent box office. I think, for a $40 million film, which the first one I think was only $30 million, I think it cost to make. And this one had a little bit of higher budget, but still, what they were able to pull off with that $40 million was amazing. And this is
that's outstanding, Simon. Anytime you can make a movie for $40 million and make a profit and everything, that's fucking great.
Yes, 100%. And I think out of all the films besides the first film, this one is actually the shortest of the other two sequels. This one only coming in at 2 hours and 2 minutes long. But this was just absolutely fantastic. I think it's such a great sequel. I mean, it took what the first one did and just revamped it and amped it up and give us even more. And Keanu Reeves is just such a freaking dynamite character as John Wick. He is so freaking awesome. And I feel he is John Wick to the T. And I absolutely just love what he brings to the table as this character. And I'm just always really impressed with his characterization of this character. All right, so to start us off, I want to get your guys' thoughts on the film. Just overall, what were your thoughts on this film? What did you think about it? What did you enjoy about it? Overall, just kind of like going from the first film into this one, what were you expecting? Were you expecting it to be as good as the first one or even better? And just kind of your overall thoughts on the film as a whole. And I'll start with you, Jeff.
Well, honestly, Cyber, I got to be totally realistic and honest about how I feel about John Wick 2, regardless of the fact that you personally picked it and everything. No disrespect to you, sir, because I love your general overall movie selection when it comes to movie reviews in general. I like the diversity that you bring to the table and all that with your picks and everything, and how you go up and down the decades, in terms of, the historical value of film and all that, but honestly, sir, I never saw John Wick 2 in my life until tonight. And I honestly expected an improvement, I guess, over John Wick. If I guess, to be honest with you, like naively or whatever, if you want, like innocently, that was my expectation going in, was that I was just assuming, for some reason, I don't know why, because there's been a lot of bad sequels, and a lot of bad, third, number threes, in history that have been made that have been terrible, right? That's a reality that we've watched in Hollywood for decades, but for some reason, I just assumed that John Wick 2 was an improvement on the first film, just because I guess the word of mouth and the popularity of the film and the franchise overall with folks, I honestly did not think it stood up quality wise to the first film. Just the visual aspects of the movie and how it looks, when you watch it, the cinematography, the technical aspects, the production aspects, are all very impressive and very very worth respect, I think, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of creativity there, for an action film, and all that. But I just felt like, the overall story of John Wick 2, compared to the first film, and that story that they give you in that film, there's just a lot, it's a lot tighter, and more logical and like more realistic, and entertaining, and like, you get that from, I think, from the story in the first film, and I think that there's different reasons for that we'll discuss throughout the movie review, right? And I'll point out, but there's differences, we all watch the movie, we all know that, and there's always differences and changes that are made whenever there's sequels made, and I know that, but the story in this film overall, from start to finish, just I don't know, I'm trying to think of the right word, but it just, I don't know, it lacked something for me, I think, that the first film gave me as a viewer, in the audience or whatever, right? I still think it's an entertaining movie, and I like action movies, and I like Keanu Reeves, right? I think that the story of John Wick 2 overall, for the film, was a little bit played out, in terms of action, suspense, type of films like this. I just feel like, it lacked some new creativity, some new elements, to separate and elevate the story for John Wick 2 from the first film, I think, unfortunately, I guess for me anyway, I just felt like there were some spots in the movie where I kind of like almost got bored a little bit, and although I appreciate and I think highly of the choreography and how some of the action scenes and everything and the fight scenes look, it's also a little bit cliched to see it all happening again in another film, in another John Wick film, the same gun style, and the same fighting, style and all that again. It's not as exciting or new or whatever, when you see it in the sequel, but it's still at the same time entertaining, and I appreciate the time and the effort that the actors and the people that produce the film and all that, that they put in to create, films like this and pull those scenes off. So it's it's just one of those things. I like a lot of elements of the film, and then other ones I don't like as much, so that's pretty much it. I'm pretty 50-50 on John Wick 2.
Okay. Looks like we lost Andres.
I don't know what happened to Andres. He just dropped off. It's probably his internet.
All right. Thank you, sir. Great job. Yeah, I mean, I think that John Wick Chapter 2 is better than the first film. I like it better. I like the action more. I thought it wasn't as slow. I think that it had I think the first film has a great flavor, but I think every single episode after has gotten even better. And I think that overall it's just a really fantastic film. I mean, that scene, where he's taking out all the people in the club is freaking insane, and it's just so awesome. Absolutely love it. All right, so of course, like I was saying before, Keanu Reeves, of course, is in this as John Wick. We also have Ricardo Scamaricio as Antonio D'Antonio. We have Claudia Giranni, who plays Gianna D'Antonio. We have Ian McShane, of course, Ruby Rose, Common, Lawrence Fishburne, Lance Reddick, Peter Styrmeyer, John Leguizamo, Bridget Monahan in this. I mean, what a cast. I mean, huge, huge cast. And each film usually has, like, in some form or another, they have like they usually show a lot of these same characters like that, like Lance Reddick, of course, and Sharon. He was an awesome character. It's too bad he passed away last year, a couple years ago now. He was so fantastic as his character, and it's too bad we won't get to see him as that character anymore. I absolutely love Peter Styrmeyer in this. I think he's absolutely hilarious as his character. But I think this has a really great cast that just really emphasized even more from the first film, because in the first film, of course, we have William Dafoe. We had, of course, John Leguizamo popped up too. And I think he was, really fun too.
I thought the supporting cast was just a little bit stronger, Cyber, in that first film, to be honest with you. I don't know, but that could be personal bias, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to actors, so.
Yep. Definitely. Produced and put out distributed by Lionsgate, of course, which is, awesome. I think Lionsgate is one of those just awesome distributors. I love what they do. And they put out a lot of great stuff.
I'm glad they're still around.
Yep. Anywho,
I forget their resume, but I'm aware and I know from past experience that they've made some good films.
Definitely. Welcome back, Andres.
Hello.
All right, sir. We were left on you. What are your thoughts overall on John Wick Chapter 2?
Well, of course, I love John Wick. I mean, my whole family has loved the series. I've seen the last 3 films in theaters, so I'm a big fan of this franchise. Of course,
Andres, you didn't hear my thoughts, sir, but just so you know, my opinion on John Wick 2 was I was pretty 50-50 on it. I thought there was some good stuff and some stuff that kind of fell off from the first film, just so you know.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of in the same page as you, Jeff, because, I agree with Cyber. This is definitely a good sequel. What this movie does well as a sequel, it really expands the universe of John Wick. We got a little bit of taste from the first film, he was part of this underworld thing, and there's some rules, all that, and it was very interesting. But it was really cool that this sequel and later on the sequels, they expand upon the world of John Wick and where he lives, the Catanaro hotel, and there's actually versions of them in the other countries we see in this film, not only New York, in Rome, and then obviously in the sequels we go into other different continental hotels in the various locations that John Wick goes to in the later sequels or spin-off. I think that Reeves does such an awesome performance in this movie. I mean, you could tell how he's in pain, and like he really wants to get out of this business for good. It was not like he wasn't permanently come back, but he just like Michael Corleone from Godfather Part 3. It's like, I think I was out, they pull me back in, and that's what it is for this movie for John Wick. It's like he's pulled back in, forced to do this one thing, and all hell break loose after that. But as a John Wick fan, this is not my personal favorite. I think this is my least favorite of the sequels. Like I agree with Jeff. It's like 50-50. First off, the action is great. I love the action here. That's not like a big downgrade. Like they really amp up the action here. Like especially the moment where I was like, oh my god, they did the pencil. Like we saw John Wick using the pistol against two assassins. I was like, oh, glorious, love it. It's just like a couple things we'll get into. Like I was like, oh, I don't like this. Like the villain. Like the villain really annoys me. I really hate the Nintendo, the main villain here, who pulls John Wick back to the business. And not saying much, but we'll get into it. But when he. His demise was like the best thing about the movie. I was like, yes, thank you, John Wick. And so, but yeah, I still love this. It doesn't mean like it's the worst. I'm just saying that I just preferred just chapter 3, chapter 4 more because of the more crazy action, and then some of the supporting characters. That's the thing. I think chapter 2, like despite they introduced Fistborn in this movie, who is a great supporting character in this series. I love that he came back a couple times, but I just don't think some of the supporting characters we get here in this chapter is like not interesting. They're like the weakest among the supporting characters that we meet again, not meet again, but like meet for just the one time in chapter 3 or chapter 4. So that's my thoughts on chapter 2. It's a really good sequel that really expands upon the first film. Because we got so many John Wick movies now, it's like it's up for you what kind of action movie you want, especially for John Wick. But for me, this is my least favorite. I agree with Jeff. Like I liked the first one more because it was tight. It was a short film. But at the same time, it doesn't mean it's the worst. So I'm very excited to talk about this movie. It's a really fun movie to watch. That's what to say.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Great job as usual. Both great jobs. Excellent. So we have a 50-50, and then, of course, I feel kind of another 50-50 almost. So excellent, guys. I'm the only one here that really likes this, so that's all good. That's all right. That's okay. We all have different opinions. It's all good. But anyways, so John Wick Chapter 2. Let's get into the meat of this bad boy. So John Wick infiltrates a smuggling compound run by Abraham Tarsaoff, who is highly strung following the recent deaths of his nephew, Lucif, and brother Vigo at John's hands. There, he recovers his stolen Boss 429 Mustang and kills all of Abram's men in a violent rampage, but spares Abram himself under the promise of peace. Returning home, he sends his Mustang off to be repaired by Aurelio and attempts to restart his life of quietude. We'll stop there because that was a good chunk, I feel, right at the beginning of the film. Lots of action, great Peter Stormare action and all that kind of stuff. So what are you guys' thoughts on that beginning intro leading up to, him getting his car back and then taking it to John Leguizamo's character to get fixed and then him retreating to go back to his quietude? I'll start with you, Andres.
Fantastic. Love this opening. It gets me in the right mood for a John Wick movie. I mean, the action scenes here are amazing, top notch. Like, I mean, that poor Mustang gets literally destroyed, like scene by scene when he's trying to get out of there, and those people just, oh my god, that car is a beauty, and the fact that it gets destroyed is like, oh my god. I was laughing when we meet the uncle, who is played by Peter Sommer, or who's the actor that is in a couple of the Coen Brothers movies. Like obviously he's in Fargo, he's in Armageddon. Was he in Armageddon?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in that.
He was
movie.
Lev. He was Lev.
Yeah. Yes, he was Lev. Yes. So he's a fantastic actor, and the fact that they got him here for this movie was like fantastic because I think he was in The Matrix, right? Like, or one of the Matrix. I don't know. Like,
no, he wasn't in The Matrix.
Okay, because I was wondering like how did these directors, because these people, Chad and David Leitch were stunt coordinators for Reeves in the Matrix trilogy, so I know like they got a couple people here that are from the previous.
He has such a unique performance as an actor that you can't, there's no way you would not remember him, if he was in something like the Matrix.
Yeah, no, it has to be some other actor I'm maybe confusing about. But anyway, like we see him, and then like this movie does such a good job of picking up like when we're left off, and then like really paid them off. Like of course, like he needs to get his car. Like that was his, like he got his revenge on the people that killed his dog. So like now is like let's get his car back because it was stolen. So that was a really good smart move for the opening to really address that. And then it was great to like wrap up the whole Vigo storyline, very quickly. It's like, okay, they're dead. And then we get this uncle who, tell us, like, reminding us again who John Wick is, like, of course they tell again the pencil thing. And it's like, God damn it. They neutered the pencil. It's not like how they say it is. It's like, so funny. And I love his bodyguard. He's like, why would you just give the car back? And it's like, it's not, I mean, like this is John Wick. He's gonna get it and take it from our hands. It's oh my god, it's such a great opening, and and I really like how just Reeves is in this role. Like this is his role, and the way he moves and the way he like attacks these people was really great. That one scene when he grabs the guy, but while he was smoking and covers his mouth was like, whoa, very brutal. So overall, I think this opening is a really great, like, just get you back into the world, like paying off the leftovers from the first film, which was good. So like, really great, smart decision for a sequel, because sometimes sequels don't really do that. Sometimes they forget or they just want to do something new, but like it's totally out, like literally out left field. Here, this opening action scene is like they're paying off the leftovers from the first film. Tried to wrap that up, so we can start the new story that we're going to follow through this movie. And then to the end point, it was good to see John Linus, the car friend from the first film. He's a great actor. I love him. And this is the last time we're going to see him because he's not going to be in the next films, which is kind of sad because I like him and I like his relationship with John. So it was good to see him again and, take the car and hopefully fix it, which he doesn't do after this for John Wick. So yeah, overall great opening. Very excited to talk about the other scenes.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right, going over to you, Jeff. Your thoughts on that beginning intro, sir, up to John restarting his life of quietude after he has Aurelio come and take his car away to fix it.
Yeah, it's very mixed bag, Cyber. Again, it's very 50-50 for me right from jump, the movie. Because although I respect and appreciate the desire to have a continuation from the first film into this film, you know what I'm saying? I respect and admire that sort of way of going about producing a sequel, usually in a film. I think that's good, and I like that. And I appreciated those elements again. Brought in, I think that's cool. It's creative in a like a very like also like loyal to the first film sense. You know what I mean? Which I think is cool. But making the adding the elements right off the bat with in the action where you have all the hand to hand fighting all of a sudden now with John Wick. You know what I mean? And all these guards and all these, henchmen, mercenary motherfuckers, that he's fighting in the film. None of them have guns, And I'm like, in the audience, I'm watching the movie and I'm like thinking to myself, what criminal organization do you know of in the world or whatever that exists that their enforcers or like their thugs or whatever don't carry any guns or weapons around? You know what I mean? That just, again, when it comes to like the realism of the film, the realistic aspect of it, that John Wick, the first film really has going, where the action does feel somewhat grounded, in a sense of, the entertaining aspect of an action film that you get, where you get to almost kind of, be the character kind of, or imagine what it'd be like, you know what I'm talking about. Imagine, if you were in the movie kind of almost, right? That realism, I don't know. I just felt like, I love that Peter, whatever his last name is, Storsgard or whatever his name is, was in it. But then he's gone, I didn't expect that. When I saw him, I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe this is going to be like, a villain or, an under villain or an underboss or something, in the film, okay, that's good. But to just tease him like that, I would have liked more of him in the film, honestly. I think he's a great actor, and that would have made the film better if they would have had him in it throughout the film. So then there's that. I appreciate, and I thought it was interesting that they continued the story and sort of like wrapped up the story, I guess you could say, from the first movie the way they did. It was cool. It was entertaining. I like hand-to-hand combat, but from a realism standpoint, I didn't like him just knocking guys out, and not killing them. You know what I'm saying? And those guys just laying there asleep, or whatever, as opponents. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not that believable to me, You got to finish guys, you know what I mean? In real life, I mean, if you knock a guy out, he'll wake up and fucking kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, in real life, you know what I mean? So like, people don't just like fall asleep when they're knocked out in fights forever. I don't like that. A lot of you see that happen in a lot of movies. It's a totally well-known, played out over decades trope of action films and movies in general to do that. But my expectations for like a John Wick film after the first movie, and the praise that the John Wick films get from audiences that have seen them, people I've met and talked to or whatever, I just I'd rather see him killing people in these scenes, like finishing them every time he fights people and stuff like that or whatever. I can understand occasionally knocking somebody out, but doing a whole fight sequence where it's all hand to hand, and you shoot like one person or something like that, or whatever, not at all. It just doesn't seem all that believable to me. I don't know what the deal is with people hitting people with cars, in John Wick 2, but it happens a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie before until John Wick 2 where people get hit by cars immediately, twice in the initial sequence of the film. It happens twice. I don't think I've ever in my life ever seen that happen before in a movie until now. Two separate instances of people getting hit by cars or whatever, or almost getting hit by a car, like right off the bat. That's definitely different, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that, like, these thugs or whatever that, work for this gang, like, would be like wanting to use vehicles or cars as a weapon against John Wick. That was just kind of like weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, like, I don't know, I thought John Wick, the first film, did a pretty decent job of grounding John Wick's ability to handle getting hurt and injured in battle. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty real. It seemed pretty realistic. When he would get hurt and get knocked, totally knocked out or injured, or it seemed somewhat, pretty realistic that, that he could take, punishment to some degree and keep going. And I know he has that fucking, that fucking will of power or whatever the fuck he's got going on, like the boss says, as an assassin, he's got that high motor, the way that he gets hit by cars, and like rolls off of them and then bounces right back into a fight and all that and everything. I don't know, Cyber. Like, getting hit by a car has got to really fuck you up, like in real life, medically or whatever, or like physically, you know what I'm saying? I can't imagine that you feel real good after a car hits you. and you like actually physically roll up onto the fucking windshield and shit like that and then fall to the ground, So like, I don't know. Overall in the film, I thought they did a pretty good job with being realistic with, the sort of toll John Wick can take overall, in combat. But I don't know if, how believable I think it is for anybody in general to be able to, endure or like rock with getting hit by fucking cars like that and just be like, whatever about it, I think I would like have broken bones and be like really fucked up if a car hit me, I know one thing, if that one fucking car that almost hit him had hit him, like he should have died from that one, If that car had hit him and he had survived that, I would have been like, are you fucking kidding me? Because that one car was really coming in there, those thugs were very fucking heavily invested into wanting to like hit John Wick with a car. But I don't know. I guess that this was like no gun to work day or something like that or whatever, for this organization or gang or whatever the fuck they are, having like not one single weapon or knife or gun at all, in a fucking fight. You know what I mean? Like, this seems kind of illogical, I mean, but hey, it works for the movie, and again, hats off to the fight choreography and all that shit, and to Keanu Reeves, for pulling off some really solid hand-to-hand combat, in the initial scenes. Yeah, I don't know, it was cool that, they brought back the element of the dog again. I like the dog part. He has a dog. That's great. And seeing him with, having the picture of the dead wife and all that, that's all good. I like that. You know what I mean? That's good. I like that actress that was never actually in the John Wick franchise, but is in that picture, the dead wife, whatever her name is. I always liked her. I know she had like her little run, where she was in some films and then she disappeared. But
she's from Blue Bloods. If you watch the show, that's mainly she usually.
You mean the current Blue Bloods or like older Blue Bloods?
She was the main cast for the whole series of Blue Bloods, not in the new spinoff that this came out.
Okay, so in the original Blue Bloods show from years ago.
Yeah, she plays one of the Reagan's members.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's like the daughter or something like that, or whatever in the movie, the show.
Yes. Yeah, and in terms of movies, she's in iRobot, which we had.
Yeah, that was her breakout movie.
Yeah, exactly. Her first name is Bridget. I cannot say her last name. It's a little tough to pronounce, but yeah, she's a really good actress. We only see her briefly in the first one. Just now, moving forward for the sequels, is just pictures,
Yeah, that's again, it's a weird thing with an actor or something like their actress, like to be in a film and only have such a small sliver of a role. You know what I mean? Which is very different from her other stuff. You know what I mean? Because in her career, when she's been in films or TV shows, she's always a main character and like has a lot of screen time and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's just weird seeing her in that, that capacity, I guess, right? And I think it's interesting that they chose her, to be that actress or to play that, be that character. But whatever, right? I do like them bringing back those elements for a minute. It was a cool thing for them to bring back from John Wick, and it helps it helps bridge and forge like that, that connection you want to have with the original film, in a sequel, right? So that's positive. But that's pretty much it, Cyber. I mean, it is very cool and interesting for them to like, start the movie off by wrapping up sort of like, business from the first film. I like that aspect. But I had, again, just I wasn't all that impressed by all that, the straight up nothing but hand-to-hand combat fighting scene in the opening, I like seeing John Wick killing people.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Good job, guys. Excellent job. Excellent job. I personally love the car smashing. I think it's absolutely hilarious. I think it's something that we hadn't seen quite often in films. And I think it also shows and goes to tell that John Wick is not your typical assassin, and that you have to hit him with a car Can't just shoot him. Can't just stab him. You have to literally hit him with a car, throw him off buildings to kill this motherfucker. So, I mean, that's the reason why I feel they have a lot of car hitting scenes, is because they literally have to try to use something that will not kill somebody right away. So I think that was a smart and intelligent part on their writing skills. And, you know, especially being stunt people, which Chad Stahelski, if you don't know this, Chad Stahelski started off as a stuntman.
Yeah.
That's what his career was before he became a director.
Yeah.
And so all the scenes, all the action is from his previous experience. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. I love it. All right.
Yeah.
So
you're good. I'm sorry, Cyber. That's a good point. I have a lot of respect for people that do the stunt work in films like this. That motorcycle that he stopped with his car door or whatever in the film. That stunt was amazing.
Most certainly. All right. Excellent. All right. So moving on with the story. So that night, John is visited by Camorra crime boss Santino D. Antonio, who, given John's brief return from retirement, is now seeking his services. John is bound by a marker. A medallion symbolized a blood oath with Santino, who had helped him complete the impossible task that allowed him to retire and marry Helen. Nevertheless, John refuses, prompting Santino to destroy his house with a grenade launcher. After surviving Santino's attack, he travels to the Continental Hotel in New York City, where Winston reminds him that the underworld has two unbreakable rules: no conducting business, i.e. assassinations on Continental grounds, and honoring the marker. To avoid a death sentence, John reluctantly accepts Santino's marker and is tasked with assassinating Santino's sister, Gianna, allowing Santino to claim her seat at the high table, a council of 12 high-level crime bosses in the underworld. Santino sends Ares, his mute bodyguard, to observe John's mission. So we'll stop there. Quite a bit of a pack there, too. I mean, this whole sequence is just freaking insane. The destruction of John's house, him surviving, of course, and then him going to talk to Winston. Of course, this is at the point where we get to see Sharon briefly, and of course, John gives him the dog, and which is super hilarious. We also have, the introduction of Santino, who is, not the greatest villain, I think. I don't think he was anything that great, but at the same time, he was annoying as fuck. And so you wanted him dead throughout the whole entire film. So I think that worked out to their favor. But overall, I think that actor that plays Santino, I think he did an okay job. He could have been better, but he did okay. But like we get introduced to him a little bit there too as well. You find out about John's marker. You kind of start finding out a little bit more about kind of what John was a part of before he went into retirement.
Cyber, I'm sorry, sir. Could you explain the marker thing? Because I didn't understand that in the movie.
So the marker is basically when you give a blood oath, meaning, like when blood brothers, cut their hand and they're bonded for life. Well, with their marker, if once you give your blood oath and you symbolize it in that blood oath, you basically you are tied to that person and have to do anything they ask of you later on when they ask you to do something. Basically, it's like an unbreakable bond. Basically, it's like an unbreakable thing. You can't get out of it. It's like jury duty.
So it's like a one-off deal or whatever that you gotta like do a makeup or whatever for whatever you did for the person or whatever in the past in some way.
Correct.
Okay.
So basically, they help you at that time. You have to come back and give them a favor later on, type of deal.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. So we learned about the marker and all that kind of stuff. We get to see the Continental again, which is awesome. Love the Continental. And then, of course, we get introduced to Ares, played by Ruby Rose, who I thought was the stupidest addition to that fucking film. what a terrible character and terrible actress. I'm sorry, I don't know what anybody saw in her acting in Orange is the New Black, but I don't think she's anything that great.
Who?
The gal that plays Ares, Ruby Rose.
The mute one, the mute.
Oh, that was Ruby Rose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I think that we also, in this section, we get to learn about the High Table a little bit, which is a council of 12 high-level crime bosses, which Santino wants to be a part of, that his sister's a part of, and that's why he wants her assassinated. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this whole section leading up to the introduction of Ares, the mute bodyguard, who's observing John's mission, and everywhere from the introduction to Santino up to the introduction of Ares. And I'll start with you, Jeff.
Yes. To bounce off of what your point, Cyber. Honestly, I did not understand what was entertaining at all about Orange is the New Black. I tried to watch that show, and honestly, I think I didn't even make it through the first season. I just stopped watching it. I did not see from watching it like what about it was supposed to be so like entertaining or whatever as a television show. To be honest with you, I liked some of the casting on that show. I liked some of the actresses that were on it. Like the chick from That 70s Show. I like her. Whatever her name is, I forget her name. That was cool. They had her in the show. I like that element. But as far as like what the whole point of that show was, where people were getting so much enjoyment out of it, I never understood it personally. I didn't think there was anything about it that was like critically acclaimable or like high level television or something like that at all.
The gal from That 70s Show is Laura Pepin.
Laura Pepin, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I like her. I've always liked her. I like redheads. And I think that I don't think she's a natural redhead, but I think she dyed her hair red for That 70s Show. But yeah, I loved her in That 70s Show. Shout out to that That 70s Show. I love that show. I've rewatched it already before, so I have no desire to like go back to that, personally. But it's a really, really solid TV show. I don't, that Ruby Rose, doesn't do anything for me personally. I did not even realize that was her, to be honest with you. That's how much I care about or have ever, been into, her, content or like the stuff she's been in or whatever, I didn't even know that was Ruby Rose, I did notice that female assassin or bodyguard assassin deal or whatever the fuck she's supposed to be, and I noticed that they, like the film, made it seem as if she was like, a somewhat, valuable, play she was going to play some sort of role in the film in some, fashion, or whatever, but, I don't know how well that really played out, to be honest with you, with her character in the film. I've heard some of the public comments she's made to the media and stuff like that in the past over the years, about certain areas of conversation, culturally and things of that nature. And I'm not a really big fan of her. Ruby Rose as a person, so, that's just how I feel about her, I guess. I really, again, she's kind of like, that show, Orange is the New Black. I don't get what about her is positive to somebody or to other people or whatever, personally. You're not seeing her really in anything coming out nowadays, I think her career is pretty much dead, wasn't she in some terrible fucking DC television show or something like that?
Batwoman,
yeah, the first season.
Oh my god, that was terrible. That was that show was so bad.
Yep, it was bad. We don't have to go to that road. It was really bad.
Oh my god, that's rough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like as low as things have gotten for the MCU in the last couple of years, some of those fucking DC TV shows they had on whatever the fuck that network is called, CW or whatever the fuck or whatever it was,
CW.
That deal that they locked in with them they just were made all those fucking DC comic shows. Some of the quality was so low on some of those fucking shows, man, that it was like shockingly bad. Some of them, So honestly, Andres, nothing against you, brother. I love you to death, and I respect your tastes when it comes to TV and film and all that, and your opinion and all that. But you gotta be. I know you've admitted it before yourself in the past that some of those fucking DC shows on that network are literally awful.
Yeah.
You would never say that about them, but they were.
Yeah, I didn't see too much of Batwoman, but yeah, I just saw just few episodes and I was like, yeah, this is really bad. So yeah, no. They were not as high as like Netflix, Daredevil or some of the other like high tier superhero shows. So it wasn't like that, unfortunately.
No, and again, I want to stick to John Wick 2 and all that. I don't want to go too long on other shit, but when it boils down to it, like networks like that, can get away and have for a long time with having like cheesy, cut rate, looking, or acting type TV shows and still have them be entertaining at least, or like, somewhat respectable, right? But some of that DC stuff is just really bad, and I can never understand like how people could get invested in some of it personally, But anyways, yeah, I mean, I'm not like I'd have to see that that actor that plays the main villain of the film of John Wick 2, that Spanish guy, that John Wick has the blood pact or whatever, with or whatever. I was not really a fan of him in the movie all that much, I mean, but in overall, I'd have to see him more or see him in other projects or something like that, to really, evaluate, the actor or whatever overall, you know what I mean? One film isn't enough evidence, I think, when it comes to, judging, actors. But I'm glad that Cyber, you explained to me the whole concept of this contract deal, whatever they have, going on in the film, and again, I'm very 50-50 with all this stuff because I mean, as much as I appreciate, the desire and the motivation and the effort to pull off a good sequel that connects to the first film well and hits and all those on those levels, and I think that whole like blood oath contract fucking deal or whatever that they put into the film, that device is very connective to John Wick in general. Like I respect that, and like I think it's creative. At the same time, I don't know, like I'm just kind of surprised, like as a fan or like as an audience member or whatever, that surprised that John Wick as a character or whatever person would make that deal, with somebody. You know what I mean? I don't know if I struggle imagining John Wick from the first film agreeing with some dude for that contract, for that deal. I don't know, he's so like one man army, like, so motivated at like, being a one man assassin killing machine, that just like starts and finishes everything he does and everything. It's hard for me to imagine him like, agreeing to that contract or that, deal. But it is entertaining, I guess. It's cool seeing the hotel again. that's a really cool element of from the first film that they brought back, you know, that I like, and I'm totally down with, you know, that whole concept of that whole hotel and everything, you know, is really, really neat and cool, you know, overall, you know, and I love the actors that make up the staff, you know, that are recurring. They're solid, you know, people I like, you know, people I've seen in other shows, you know, TV shows and things like that I've really liked in the past, you know, and I'm glad they brought those people back, you know, for John Wick 2. That was a good move casting wise, you know. I will give them credit for that, you know. The fact that they brought back what's his name from Deadwood, you know, to be the main guy at the Continental or whatever. That I appreciate because
Ian McShane.
He's very high level as an actor, you know. He's really high level, you know. I love everything he's good that he does. He's usually good. The concierge guy, the black guy, you know, I forgot his name, but he's pretty solid too. He's been in a lot of good stuff in the past, in TV and film. So, yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know. The last thing I'll say is just that, I don't know. I did not find it all that like exciting. You know, like that he ended up with being put in a position where his role and job and whatever was going to have to be that he had to go assassinate this guy's sister or whatever. You know, I just wasn't really all that enthralled by that personally. You know, but you know, again, besides that, I did like the stuff that they did where they brought back stuff from the first John Wick film. That I appreciated.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Awesome. 1.2. Okay. Out of 10. Okay. I guess you haven't seen Orange is the New Black, sir. They're pretty impressive for a dummy, but take another look, sir. I think they're a little more than 1.2.
1.2 out of 10, huh, Andres?
Hilarious, Andres. Hilarious, sir.
God,
great, good job, Time Lord.
I mean, honestly, she's just such an overall, like her effect or whatever, you know, as an actress, as an actor playing characters, the stuff I've seen her in is so like negative, you know, like her energy or whatever, you know what I'm saying, is so negative kind of, or off-putting, you know, that I've never really paid attention to her tits or her rack, you know. I know she has tits. She's not like, you know, like flat-chested.
No. That was pretty much is what Orange is the New Black is. That's pretty much, I think, her role. That's what her role was.
She's like some douchebag fucking like lesbo, you know, fucking asshole, you know, overall as a person, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, you know, in general, right? So like, it's no wonder that she was a perfect fit for that TV show, you know, it's set in a woman's prison or whatever, you know what I mean? You know, she was perfect for that show.
Yep. All right. So going over to you, Mr. Andreas, Mr. Pop Culture, Mr. Time Lord, Time Cop, Time Everything. What are your thoughts, sir, on that section from the introduction to Santino to being introduced to Ares, Miss Orange is the New Black?
What do you think about Sydney Sweeney and her rack, Andres?
Her rack is real. Like, I mean, like even the press tour or like any premiere events she's at, it's real, folks. That's like a 9.5 out of 10. Like, oh my god, she's
amazing. I have to give her a lot of credit. She's made a lot of money and created a really solid image off of you know, the old fashioned, just showing, you know, my huge tits, you know, like all the time, you know, like in public or whatever, you know, and it works.
Yeah, no, it does. It really works. But yeah,
I mean, she's hot, you know what I'm saying? But she has huge fucking tits, you know, and they're outstanding looking.
Yes. No, they are. That's why I give it. Well, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Let's do that.
She's blessed.
Yes, she is blessed. Unlike Ruby Rose, where I just think her like it's probably fake, folks. Come on, like I feel like it's fake, but I need to see her, the Orange New Black, because I haven't seen that show.
I don't know, sir. I don't want to debate you, but like for what I have seen of her, like in John Wick 2, I don't think she has fake tits.
Okay.
They're too small to be fake. The implants make a woman's breasts larger. To the extent to where that you can't get implants and not end up with a big breast.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I need to probably check it out, and because I haven't seen.
When you get a boob job as a chick, you end up with you're gonna end up with a
D. Check it out.
You're gonna end up with a D plus bra size immediately after your boob job. That's how it works.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm killing Cyber tonight. All right, so let's just stick with John Wick Chapter 2. I agree with everyone. I personally don't like Ruby Rose in this role. Like again, as I say from the beginning, the new side characters, some are good, some are really bad. I think Ruby Rose as this mute Ares assassin is very lame. Like when she dies, spoils, but like she does die on the hands of John Wick. I was very happy she died, because I don't think she was really that interesting or fun like the last side characters we got from the last movie or the next movies we're gonna get. Yeah, I agree with Cyber and with Jeff. I don't like the main villain. I mean, they did a good job of making him very annoying and frustrating, and so when he died, it was really good payoff, because I was again, same thing. But as a villain, I don't think he was really he gave a good performance, but I don't think he really fit to this world. Or I just feel like there should be another great actor, but whatever, we'll get. But I agree with Jeff here. It was good to see back some of the the OG characters from the first film. Winston, that's the name of Ian McShane's character. He's always great. He always had great chemistry with John Wick, and they did address why he took this deal. That was he did address it and say, look, it was the only way to get out of this world, and so he had to make he has to make a deal with the devil, which that's what happened with John Wick. And and I'm happy that Winston kind of say why you made a marker with the Centennial. So it was great to see again the late great Lance Reddick. That's the name of the person that's the front person that's in the Reddick. Thank you, Lance Reddick. Yes, great actor. Very sad he's no longer with us. He's always a great part about these movies, especially Chapter 3. That's why I love Chapter 3, is because he got more to do, and he's in action whenever we get in touch in Chapter 3, because that's my personal favorite of the series. But yeah, I always love the running gag from the series that John Wick doesn't name his dog, and it's his name is Dog.
Yeah, that's I'm sorry, but that's kind of stupid, Andre.
I know. I know.
Who the fuck doesn't name a dog?
I know. Why? I always wonder, why he doesn't does he want to be not too attached to this dog? Maybe because he doesn't want to be hurt again.
And I'm sorry, but how is that hotel concierge dude ever going to be able to take care of that dog?
I mean, to be fair though, that is not a hotel. It's an assassin hotel, so I don't know.
But according to John Wick in the franchise, that guy works at that hotel 24/7. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the most loyal employees, ever. He's always there. So I don't know how he's going to take care of a dog.
I mean, the dog is a good listener. I mean, I see the movies. All the movies, and this dog is very good at listening.
I can't believe that a hotel like that's a criminal hotel or whatever, assassin hotel, will allow dogs.
Yeah. Well, let's be first of all, this is not a real world, and the hotel is literally a hotel or spot for assassins, mercenaries, all that to stay for the with the mission they're doing. So I can take disbelief for that moment. Well, and again, this section of the movie I really like, except for the villains and Ruby Rose. I really like the expansion of the universe, like getting more like a clear idea about like what's this world about. Like as Cyber brought up before, knowing about the high table, because moving forward from this chapter, the high table is going to be more important in the chapters, and that's like, so like rewatching that movie, today, and all my rewatch with my mom, because she loves this movies, this the first movie to really lay out like the big guys that's running the business of this world. And then getting the marker, like it made sense, like because that's going to be an important thing in next chapter. So like this is not like a one thing off. We see what the marker is, that's going to be a thing that John Wick actually uses with another person, which was really cool when I got to chapter 3. I guess just wrapping up. The endpoint is like when he gets to Italy and he starts doing his mission, getting the stuff. Saber. I don't want to go too far. But anyway. So sorry. Go ahead, Cyber.
What were you asking?
The endpoint. I can talk about when he goes to Ely and like try to get his like stuff for the next mission that you got signed for the team.
Yeah. So we're going to the end was being introduced to Ares.
And he was following him, right?
Following him around.
Yeah. Okay. So this is my favorite part of the movie. Just, I mean, well, first off, I just want to bring up Jimmy, the police officer from the first movie. It was great. They brought him back for this funny lines like, "Are you back working again?" And it's like, "See you again," or "See you, Jimmy," and then he's like, "Oh shit." That was like a really great funny thing. John Wick walking to New York is so weird because like I don't know where he lives in New York. Like, is he in Manhattan, Queens, like where his house got exploded? Because that was something me and my mom and my late dad were talking about for like so many years. It's like
I don't know. That's very weird, Andres. Honestly, to tell you the truth, like to imagine, like where in New York City would you have a house like that with land?
Yeah,
like like that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Like and you cannot tell like not me or Manhattan or Queens have that kind of like land. So like that was always weird. Like when he literally walks to New York to the Continental Hotel, like no car, like no bus. I'm like, what? Like I don't know. That part was like weird. I just had to bring it up because like it was like it just drives me nuts every time I see.
Yeah, like there's no way you could walk from Long Island or whatever. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so that was something that I had to bring up because like that was always weird to me when we got to that part. But yeah, so but after that, when he goes to Italy and goes to the Italy Continental Hotel, that's really fun. I like that part section. I really love from this chapter. Just see him getting ready for the mission to kill, the Antonio's sister, all that. See him getting the weapons and like like it's like this like tasting room, like tasting the weapons. It's so hilarious. That's so cool. It's like, and then he goes to like the keys person to like, or the key / like the layouts of the like I guess auditorium that she's gonna be going for like the event. Like that was really cool to see like the different layers you can go to like escape or like get out and if he gets caught, like really cool. And like he gets the keys to like either open like a very acceptable key or like a universal key to open all these locks or doors, whatever. And of course Jeff, you brought up like him getting hit or get stabbed and stuff like that. I like that in this chapter they like revealed that they do have built in this like like protection like which at least we got that, and like that was like a good thing because I do agree you that like I'm surprised he survived with that like car crash thing, but I I usually disbelieve. I dispense that because it's a movie and all that. I don't think too hard for that. And plus, they go really hard. Like these movies really go hard. Like the anime, like the influence of like anime / Hong Kong cinema. Because like if you watch all the like Jackie Chan movies, like he goes really crazy with the action scenes and like he even gets hurt.
One of the main producers of the film is out of Tokyo, right? Is Tokyo or whatever film company.
Yeah, I think so, or I think the next movie, but yeah.
No, this one. You see, in the initial credits, you see that one of the production companies or studios is out of Tokyo.
Yes, no, I think so. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah. No, that's true.
That's rare. You don't see that very often.
Yeah. So, in Rome, Italy, like I like how he meets up with the head of Catania Hotel, the great Italian actor from who played Django, the first version of Django in the Italian films. He's great. I like that he talks. I love the joke when he asked John Wick, "Hey, John, are you here to kill the Pope?" And he's like, "No." And like it's like, "Here, enjoy this awesome room. One of the best luxurious rooms you're gonna live for now." And I just love that joke. Yeah, so just wrapping up, I think this section was really great. I like the Rome stuff because it's great to see more of the world building, seeing what the high table or in general the underworld provides John as a hitman, and like it's really cool to see that like he gets all these access of like protection, weapons, accessories that can help infiltrate the target easy and like very quick, which John Wick is. He's Baba Yaga. But the nitpicks for this section, of course, I agree with you guys. It's like the villains are not in the stream. I think I kind of wish I agree with Jeff. I kind of wish the actor Pierre Submar, from the Fargo / Prison Break should be the main villain, but
good point, Andres. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that they should have kept him in the movie in a bigger role. That was a mistake, and they really downgraded the female villain catalyst role from the film that John Wick did well with in their casting. With that element, you know what I mean. Bringing in Ruby Rose for this film really diminishes that role. That female catalyst, villain, role, it's a total downgrade,
Yeah, because the last one, Perkins
she was great. That actress is totally like no name, like she's never been in really anything but John Wick, but she's great in John Wick.
Oh yes, she's been many things. I know her mainly from one episode from Smallville. She was in the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. She played Monkeybird.
She has a nice mix of like sexual sexiness, like sexual element, just she brings that to the screen, sex appeal, what I mean, like that feminine energy, what I mean, along with doing a pretty solid job in her action fight scenes, and stuff like that. I don't know how much that is her. You know what I mean? But like, her scenes were pulled off well in the first film.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, she feels more like an assassin than Ruby Rose, right? Like she feels more like a hit woman than this one is. Also, like, why she's mute? Like that's another thing that's weird about her.
I don't know. I don't want to go on and on. But I just don't think Ruby Rose is that as believable as an actress.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like her effect on screen is not the energy or whatever. Like I said. It's not there for her,
Yeah, I agree. I don't think she's a great actress. I don't know how she got so popular. I mean, she's not doing much.
She looks very physically small as a woman, like when it comes to like fighting and like as an opponent,
Yeah, especially because like Reeves is like 6 feet and like very tall. Like I don't know how like. She's too small to fight, like as an assassin or a mercenary or whatever.
Yeah. She's not a very large woman.
Yeah, so that's my thoughts on that section, Cyber. Oh, good, but yeah. So this section is good, expanding the universe, but the villains are very weak for this franchise.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's too bad because the villains could have been so good. They could have been so awesome, and yet I feel they really kind of, made it really slow, like kind of like choices and who they picked for their bad guy in this film. Simply for the fact that I think that, they were trying to go for that like gaudy type film, like the Italian family mafia type of deal. And I just don't think they hit the mark just right with Santino or with any of the other characters
Yeah,
that were
yeah.
bad guys. I mean, I don't see Common as a bad guy. I'm sorry. I just don't see him as like
No.
he doesn't, to me, he doesn't come off as super like badass or anything. He kind of comes off like I'm a retard. I that's just how it comes off for me. I don't know why, but it just does. But yeah, definitely I have to agree the villains aren't the greatest in this one. But I absolutely love Peter Starmeyer. I think he's a great villain.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, I agree. I think this section is quite interesting. Simply the fact of the introduction to the different characters, the whole Continental scene. I absolutely love the Continental section. I think it's so much fun. And getting to see, Sharon, played by Lance Reddick again, is absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, seeing Ian McShane again, who's absolutely awesome. Absolutely love him. And to go back to what you said, Jeff, he was amazing in Deadwood.
Oh, yeah.
He is such a fantastic just actor. I absolutely love him in Hot Rod.
That was actually one element of Deadwood that was publicly acclaimed, wasn't it, Cyber? Was his performance of the show was actually like a well-known, thing in Hollywood and like in entertainment, news and all that. He was known for that performance.
Yes, he was. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he's the face of the show. Like, if you see the box covers or posters, it's like his face is like the first thing you see.
I think I think he won some Emmys and stuff like that, or at least was nominated a couple times during the course of the show.
I think so.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent job, folks. Excellent job, guys. All right, so moving on. So in Rome, Italy, John makes his way through Gianna's coronation and finds her in her dressing room. Faced with certain death, she chooses to slit her wrist, after which he shoots her in the head to end her suffering and fulfill Santino's marker. While leaving the site, John is attacked by Gianna's bodyguards, Cassian forcing him to flee to the nearby catacombs, where he is double-crossed by Ares, who intends to kill him to tie up loose ends on Santino's behalf. After killing most of Ares' henchmen, Cassian again pursues John, with the ensuing fight leading them into the Rome Continental, where they are stopped from conducting business. John explains that he was forced to kill Gianna due to her brother's marker. Cassian, while understanding, tells him that he cannot let the assassination go unpunished, but promises to grant him a quick death. The Rome's Continental manager, Julius, gives John safe passage back to New York. Santino has opened a contract to have John assassinated, ostensibly to avenge his sister's death. As John fights off numerous assassins, Winston visits Santino and confirms the marker's fulfillment, thus freeing John from being unable to defy or harm Santino. So we'll stop there. Quite a bit there going on. Lots of action, lots of craziness going on here. The whole conversation between Cassian and John, aka Common. We have the death of Gianna, which, Gianna, that actress is absolutely a great actress, I think. I think she is fantastic. I love her portrayal. I love that sequence. I think she's absolutely fantastic. You get that whole underground scene of John infiltrating the coronation and everything, which is really cool. The music in the background is fun. I absolutely love the music that's going on throughout that and stuff like that. But of course, we have Ares in the background, kind of snooping around and shit like that, and she double crosses him, which really is like so totally like you didn't see that coming. But of course, Cassian, of course, goes after John after he finds Gianna dead, and they have that great conversation. But still, he's like, I got to still, it can't go unpunished type of deal. And of course, then we have John getting asylum because he's at the Continental, back to New York's Continental. And then, of course, we see the open contract on John that opens up, and then a whole bunch of people decide to start going after him, which is really awesome. And then we have that great scene with Winston and Santino where he says, John's Maka is now fulfilled, is it not, Santino? And you're just kind of like, ooh, yes, Winston, do it, bro. Just take this motherfucker out. You're thinking to yourself, but at the same time, you're like, he's such a proper gentleman. You're just like, oh, he's so freaking awesome. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on this section. What was your thoughts on that big portion of the film, from John going to Rome and the killing of Gianna, to the action that ensues through the catacombs, leading up to going to the Continental, and then, of course, that fantastic little scene with Common and John Wick, and then, of course, the great Santino Winston scene as well, leading up to, the fulfillment of the marker. What are your guys' thoughts? And I'll start with you, Jeff.
Yeah, I felt like this section of the film became a little convoluted at times for me, in terms of the story and all that, and trying to kind of stick with it, and be I guess fully aware, what I mean, kind of, I guess, of what was occurring on screen, and be able to completely understand the overall logistics of this assassin, mercenary contract killing, sort of society or whatever, that they have going on in the John Wick franchise that John's a part of and all that, it's a really cool element to go with and work, and have in a movie, it's really, really cool. But there can be sometimes, parts of it that can be a little, convoluted for me. And like that, this section had some aspects, that, like when all of a sudden there was a hit out for John Wick, I was a little bit confused about what was really going on, I don't want to repeat myself about elements that I, didn't like, or were questionable of, but although I agree with Andres 100% that the whole angle aspect of the setting of Rome is great in the film, it's a really a value, like a benefit to the movie, overall, as a location, and it's very believable. The the underground tunnels and all that kind of connectivity, between buildings and all that, that's all believable with Rome, because it's so old, you know what I mean, that I like that. Aspects like that are very real world and real life, and at least seem plausible, you know what I'm saying? As a real thing, which is always important to me, I think, when I watch films like this, is believability, and like the realism that's there, and I felt like the mission to kill off the sister was a sort of a mixed bag, in the, from an audience standpoint, just because honestly, although the club fight scene stuff is good, and fun and exciting to watch, from an action movie standpoint and all that, the actual assassination of the sister and all that, and the reasoning, the behind him having to do that, I don't know. It doesn't I didn't really feel good about it, I guess, kind of, in a way, you know what I mean? Watching that chick die or whatever, did not I didn't feel positive about that happening, kind of, we didn't get to know that character a lot, so I didn't feel bad or anything, but it didn't benefit the story or of in the movie or whatever, for me and the audience, in terms of how I feel about John Wick. having that happen to her, it just seemed like kind of a needless death. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of like, different, from the first John Wick film, when it comes to the killing, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that gets killed in the first John Wick film, deserves to die for the most part, everybody that gets shot and stabbed and shit like that, they're bad people and they deserve, it doesn't matter if it happens to them, so, that's just one thing I want to say about, that. It's just that, John Wick has that kind of, energy or vibe, as an assassin where he has that, respect level to him. You know what I'm saying? That like those manners, that he goes by, the rules he plays by, as an assassin, and it's very positive. It's a good thing for him as a character. I enjoy it. That's always a concept that works well for me, in films like this and whatnot. Seeing him go and just have to kill that woman that did the sister or whatever, because of the blood oath, you know what I mean? Just seems sort of like unnatural, I guess, for his character again. You know what I mean? As far as like what we've known so far about John Wick, seeing him do that, even though she, stabbed herself or whatever the fuck, or cut herself or whatever she did in that bathtub before he shot her. So I don't know what that was all about. I don't know if she killed herself first or some shit. I wasn't sure. With that element, like what that was going on there, you know what I'm saying? I really wasn't sure why she did that. There's kind of that stuff like that. It's kind of like muddling for me with a movie, just throwing in that random, her like, trying to kill herself bullshit or whatever. I don't know, that was whatever to me. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of like, okay, like, I don't know. But I did like the fighting in the club scene. And again, I got high praise to the choreographers and, all the work that they do with the production for stuff like that, for those scenes, right? It's very well done, very top level, I think, right? But I don't know. Like I said, Cyber, last thing I'll say is just that again, that, the story for me in this movie is just not there for me, as much as the first film. And, this part of the film, this section, is where things start to become like at times a little bit like, boring, I guess, kind of in a way, for me when I was watching the film, and that's it.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Good job. All right. Going over to you, Andreas, Time Cop, Time Lord. What are your thoughts, sir, on that section? Yeah. And the end point, is, my good friend, just a reminder, it is the wonderful section where basically the marker is fulfilled when Winston and Santino have that great conversation.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I think the section is where the movie gets better. I think it's because we got more action here. So, like, during, like, I say, the Santino is getting visited by Winston with the deal, we get the intercut of, like, John Wick getting back to New York, and, like, he gets attacked by the multiple assassins because of the contract that Santino sent out. That's a really great scene. Like, really great action. Like, seeing the idea of, like, John Wick being on the run and, like, being targeted is a really neat idea, which gets more explored in the next chapter, in chapter 3. But we get a little taste here in this mix section. But I think the action in Rome is really fantastic. The tunnel shootout where John Wick gets ambushed because, Ares is there to, like, tie the loose ends. It's really like kind of a twist that I didn't expect. I was like, okay. and then, that whole tunnel like action is really great. See him using the various guns that he got for like during that visit, during the gun taste is really cool. Seeing them in force is like really awesome. Like he shoots them at the head as usual. Like, oh, really great action scene. And I like Common as the character he's playing in this movie. I think he's better than some of the villains, but I mean he's not like a great character. Like I don't like I see where you guys coming from. Like I like Common as actor, but yeah, he doesn't like I don't believe him as a hitman, but like he's way better than Ruby Rose and the main bad guy. I think that I just like because he knows John Wick, it makes it easier to like believe him as a hitman. But like his fight with John Wick in the stairs is very like really spectacular, and like the shootout in the street, like that was really great. As Jeff said before, the choreography and like the stunts here, like for this section, is like really top notch. I mean, like especially like when John Wick is getting back to York, and like we finally see him using a pencil and like using it against the assassins. Like, oh, really spectacular, like just action there. And like he literally breaks a woman's neck, and then he kills a chubby, hit man, and the head is like, oh my god, like so the action here, like this, like because like the first half was all like exposition, and like we're getting back to the world and like also expanding upon it. So this section I like more because just we getting more like the action of John Wick, which is good. I do like, yeah, I mean I can understand that, like it was weird to see the sister like commit suicide, but it makes sense. Like she's not gonna be like, she wants to do it her own way, and she wants to go out of her own way, so it makes sense. Um, but the part that was kind of funny was just seeing John Wick like shooting her in the head. But I guess we want to confirm that I did the kill. So yeah, I was surprised where we kind of took that that like sister like death, because I wasn't expecting her to like cut her wrist and commit suicide. But hey, she wanted to go out her own way, so I understood that. But yeah, so this section is where the movie gets picked up, but at the same time, like, oh my god, the frustration against Santillo, the brother, was so like what like up to 6 here for me. Like when he's called John Wick in the Rome hotel, he's like, John, I'm calling you for courtesy, because I know you're angry, but what kind of fool I am to like not revenge my sister. I'm like, God damn it, you stupid fool. Like, why? And like, of course, John Wick hands out the phone. He knows what happened, and then of course he sends out the contract. I'm like, oh, I really want him to be dead. Santino. And I love, as you were saying for Cyber, it was great to, listen, great character. He knows that like he just let a dog like out. Like Santino is so cocky because he doesn't know that like John Wick will kill him. Like he doesn't care about like the rules or anything. Like he has nothing left to lose. So I'm like, oh my god, please kill him, because he's so annoying. So yeah, I this section is my favorite for the film. Just seeing more of the action that we respect in John Wick, and they deliver it. But you get frustrated with Santino in this section where he's like, okay, John Wick, kill him, please, because he's really getting annoying right now. So that's my thoughts on this section. Cyber.
You, sir. Great job. Great job. Excellent. Amazing. Wonderful. Completely awesome, folks. Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. So I like I mentioned before, I absolutely love this sequence too. I think it's fantastic, and I just really enjoy this whole section. I think it's got a lot of great things going on in it. It's got a lot of action, lots of funness, lots of just craziness going on too as well. You get kind of an idea of where these people are, what their thoughts are, what they're thinking, and stuff like that, which I think is done really well. And it's just a really superb, I think, sequence as well. So I have to agree. All right. So wonderful thing. The one thing about this film, as we kind of mentioned about the action, is as we get further into the film, I definitely feel there's a lot more gun action versus hand-to-hand combat. So I think that we have certain sections in this film that have a lot of hand-to-hand combat, but then we also have a lot of scenes that have a lot of action, like, gun action going on. Like the whole section there where they're in their catacombs, there's a lot of, gun action going on there. Even after he gets out of the catacombs, there's a lot of gun action going on. And even, like in the first film, there was a lot of gun action in the place he goes to, that club, to find the boss's son that killed his dog, and there's a lot in that section too. So I think each John Wick film does a good job of having a mixture of each of the different things, and this one I think even takes it to a higher level with this whole sequence that is a lot of great pistol action and stuff like that, which is really fun. So I think that it's just really fun. And just really works out really well. All right, so moving on. So in the New York City subway, John encounters Cassian, and the two men engage in a grueling melee that ends with Cassian being stabbed in the aorta and left for dead. Now severely injured, John seeks aid from an underground crime boss known as the Bowery King. Intrigued by his intent to kill a member of the High Table, the Bowery King sportingly gives John a Kimber M1911 pistol with 7 bullets, 1 for each million of the contract. He also directs him to an art museum where Santino holds a gala. John attacks the museum and kills all of Santino's subordinates, including Ares, whose actions by time for Santino escaped for the Continental, where he boasts about remaining in sanctuary indefinitely. Despite Winston's calls for restraint, John executes Santino in the Continental Lounge. So we'll stop there. I love this sequence too, because we get introduced to Lawrence Fishburne's character, the Bowery King. And I love that character. I think it's a fantastic character. I think Lawrence Fishburne is awesome as this character. And what a great, little mini Matrix reunion, too. Both of them, Morpheus and Neo popping up. But this time around, it's more of Neo, being, even in more trouble and needing help from, Morpheus and stuff like that, which is really awesome. And I think it's hilarious how he gives him that gun, but only gives him 7 bullets. And you're thinking to yourself, 7 is... I'm thinking to myself, well, it's John Wick. I think he could do something with 7 bullets. So I'm not really worried about you only giving him 7 bullets, Bowery King. But at the same time, I think that their relationship is very interesting in how they kind of come across kind of a mutual respect here. And he gives him that gun. But then, that whole, outright attack sequence as he's making his way to the Continental to execute Santino is freaking badass. And then, of course, we get that great, action sequence with him and Cassian. They kick it. They kick ass. He takes them out. We also get that great pencil sequence where John takes a pencil and kills the guy, which is freaking sweet. This whole sequence has so much great action in it. That's just so much fun and so entertaining and just so badass. And then the ultimate demise of Santino is just priceless because he's all laughing and thinking, oh, I want Continental. You can't kill me. And then John just kills him right there. You're just John has nothing to lose. He doesn't give a shit. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh, that's so freaking badass and just so awesome. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this section as well. And I'll start with you, Andres.
Yeah, I agreed. This section is my favorite. This is the high point of chapter 2. I think the other sections are okay, but this section is awesome because first up, the introduction of the Bowery King, played by Lawrence Fishburne, is so fantastic. Again, I thought that the new side character slash villains are not good, but the introduction of the Barricade is the best one because you got a great actor like Lawrence Fishburne who knows Mr. Reese from the Matrix trilogy as you're putting up. And look, Lawrence Fishburne is a great actor. He's been working on the business so long. He's so charismatic and funny. Like, oh my god, he's so great. It's like this the way he says like, God damn, it's Christmas. We're gonna go Applebee's after this. It's so hilarious. One of my favorite lines from him is so, and his laugh is so like contagious. It's so like, oh my god, like it's like, and then his line like, oh please bring John Wick a gun is like so iconic. I love it. Sorry I butchered that line, but like that like when he says like bring this man a gun, I'm like hell yeah, and I agree with you, Cyber. Like John Wick, like he could do something with 7 bullets. And I like you brought up before the gunfight. This chapter they slowly like start to do more creative like hand-to-hand combat with John, because he still has resources. The thing that I like about the new chapters, chapter 3 and 4, is that he used more creative like kills against his enemies. Like, obviously in this chapter, you brought up the pencil that finally we see John using a pencil to kill his enemy. But also, he used other parts, something to kill like their enemy, like either like a knife or some object that's lethal that he can like kill. Like that's something I like more of than the gunfights that we get for chapter 1 and chapter 2 here. But they're not that bad. They're awesome. It's just like it gets kind of boring. Like you kind of zone out with the the gun shooting thing sometimes. So I think what I like about the John Wick series, they the next couple movies they start do more creative like action scenes with either guns or like hand-to-hand combat, like with swords or something like that. But yeah, so I really like this section, and I was not surprised with Cassian. Their like fight or gun shoot is like hilarious. Like there was one moment when they were shooting each other and like they miss and like they still do it. I was like, why are you wasting your bullets? Like you're missing each other while you're walking. And like none of the citizens hear those gun like shooters like when they were shooting at each other in that the train station whatever tunnel. Like oh my god. But yeah, when before we meet the BRIO King, when that homeless guy was part of the Continental thing, I was like, oh my god, the homeless people are assassins too. Oh my god, this is like a crazy idea. And he kills those 2 assassins. Like oh my god, hilarious. And just wrapping up, I think the museum massacre is one of the best highlights of this movie. I really liked it because it's so like you're like, come on, John, kill Santino, and it's like it's so awesome. Him killing them like 7 times, then gets the gun, just like what do you call it, passing through this Santino's man and such a like like smooth sleeve or whatever you want to call it. Like it's like wow, he's really determined to kill this guy because he I don't like Santino, so I'm hoping he gets to kill him. Yeah, that Mr. Massacre is great. There was that one moment like he reloads his gun, he does this and like check it, like a really cool moment where like he reloads his gun like just in his one hand is really cool. It was great he killed Ares. I was not like I wasn't sad because I was like, great, Ares is dead. I'm happy about that. I really liked also they used the mirror section. That was a cool homage to the Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon. So that was really cool that they did that here. And I like the mirrors action scene because that was really great and very colorful, like the neon lights there or abstract, like whatever you call it, like really complements that scene, that mirrors action scene. When it gets to the hotel, I was so happy when John finally killed Santino. I was like, hell yes. I know that he's gonna be in trouble, but it doesn't matter. Like Santino was such a prick. Like he was so cocky. He's like, yeah, John, walk away, and bam, shot him in the head. I was like, yeah, and and poor Winston, like he was trying his best to like tell John to walk away, and but like That was Centennial's fault. Like, he should have just pulled out the contract or just let John go. Like you know, it was so stupid of him. So I was not I was not sad. I was very happy that Centennial died during this section. So this section is like the best part of chapter 2, the highlight. This is the best part about this movie. Despite, you know, our mixed bag of the villains and, you know, the side characters, I think this last part of chapter 2 really like brought me back. I was like, oh yeah, we're still in John Wick. Like, they're still got it. It's just that the middle, like the first half of the movie was just like, you know, just getting back to the swing of things of John Wick. So that's my thoughts on this section of the movie. Great finale. They really delivered that.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right, Jeff. Your thoughts, sir, on this section. And I'll just repeat what it was for you. All right. Which is, it's basically the fight between Cassian and John that happens in the subway. And then, of course, the introduction of Lawrence Fishburne. And then John, of course, gets that gun. And then he basically has to fight his way to the Continental. And then basically he encounters Santino and kills him. What are your thoughts, sir?
Well, honestly, Cyber, a personal question. Have you tried any of these new Mountain Dew flavors that they've put out in like the last year or two? Like I'm drinking this dragon fruit flavor right now. Have you tried any of these new flavors?
I have not, sir.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm shocked, sir. If you ever have the opportunity, you know, you should take advantage of it because, you know, I don't know how much of a Mountain Dew aficionado you are, but Andres and I have had conversations about Mountain Dew multiple times on live streams, and you know, we find that type of conversation very fascinating. They've got some good shit going on. They have a grape purple type flavored Mountain Dew that they put out now. It's actually really good.
Dragon fruit is the purple one.
I'm not sure what color dragon fruit is because Andres, I've never seen dragon fruit in a plastic bottle before. I've only seen it in cans.
That's
you know,
true.
remember how I told you before about that some of the flavors are like that. They only come out in cans and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, we did talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Voltage. That one flavor, Voltage, is in everything. Like they have that. You know, that one is in can, plastic, all that. You know, they have it in stores. You know, gas stations or whatever. You know, but other ones, it's hard to find them in gas stations. You can only get them at Walmart, you know, or the opposite, you know. Anyway, so as far as John Wick 2 goes, I don't know. I personally really kind of felt like the movie fell off in the back half a lot. You know, the strong secondary characters that the first film used so well, you know, and made the film so, you know, so renowned, you know what I mean? And so entertaining, you know, really like play a big part in the back half of the story in the first John Wick film, you know? And in this film, because I'm not really a big fan of the casting in John Wick 2, you know, there isn't that same strength with characters in the story, you know, in the film, you know, there for me in the back half of John Wick 2. I really wasn't all that invested in John's mission to get revenge or whatever, you know, on the Spanish dude, you know, like that mission or whatever, like that, you know, that theme did not do anything for me, really, you know. I didn't care, you know, at all, you know, about it, you know. Like I didn't care what happened to that dude, you know, at all. That I did not care what happened to him. So, you know, I mean, I guess I just sort of like tuned out a little bit here and there at times in the back half of the film and in these scenes. Because although I do enjoy the action aspect of John Wick 2, it can get kind of tired, like that same, John Wick style of fighting and killing, done over and over and over again, enough times. Even if you change it up and you add new weapons, to the film and, stuff like that, it still can get kind of tired a little bit too, at least it did for me in this film a little bit, maybe it's better in John Wick 3. I don't know. I do at the same time have a lot of respect and a lot of admiration for Keanu Reeves and all the work he puts in, to pull off all these awesome stunt scenes he does with guns and stuff like that. It's great. Hats off to Keanu Reeves, right? Watching those videos of him and the other actors at gun ranges and stuff like that, prepping for these John Wick films is awesome. I love those videos. They're very exciting and like entertaining to watch. And it looks fun to go to those actor gun range places. They look like a lot of fun. I love the fact that Keanu Reeves, goes out there and gets the other actors and actresses and stuff like that, to go, to those places, and train for these films and stuff like that. It's cool. I like that about him, that, personally, that he does stuff like that. Right. And cares about that attention to detail, type of aspect of his acting and his craft. It's very applaudable. I felt like the Lawrence Fishburne introduction to the film was very late in the film for them to make that addition. And I love the Matrix connection and all that, that Cyber mentioned already. That's great, seeing them and Keanu together again. But I felt like his role in the film was very much not important or valuable, really, to the story. It didn't really do anything, he didn't add anything really to the film, sadly, I don't blame Lawrence Fishburne for that. He's just, he was just, playing his role, in the story, right? And reading the lines that were given to him, I just didn't feel like he really had an impact in the film, all that much, it's like John Leguizamo. He had such a small role that how are you going to have an impact with with such a small role like that in the film? You know what I'm saying? Great to see him brought back for a sequel, but at the same time, he only has one scene, then he's gone. You know what I'm saying? That's not enough John Leguizamo. For me personally, because he's a solid actor. But again, the Roman continental stuff was great in the movie. I did like that part. Having the story go back to New York, to the New York Continental was good. For the movie. That's a good move for John Wick. I like the movies better, honestly, when he's at that New York Continental and like fucking with that area. That's pretty much it, Cyber. Are we up to the part where he killed the dude right in the Continental, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, that's the end point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. For me, that should be like the last thing that you want to do in this franchise. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to the rules of the hotel, the assassins and all that shit, that's kind of shocking to me that even John Wick would be able to get away with breaking like the biggest cardinal rule of the fucking hotel, But apparently he gets away with it, so whatever.
I mean, well, yeah, Winston hold it excommunicado for him to had time to leave and escape from New York.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm just surprised that they did that. That that in the reality of the hotel and all that they would actually do that for John Wick, you know, like based off the first film, I would think that he would end up like, you know, being punished for that.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think it's Winston's, you know, love for John is probably why he allowed that to happen, because he understands what was going on and understood, you know, that, you know, he's going to give him some extra time because, you know, he understands that he had to do that. You know, there was no other way, you know, and, you know, even though he has to hold up the Continental's rules, he still can bend them himself because he's the, you know, runner of the Continental. So, you know, I think it's one of those, more of those things, like it just was a generosity thing because he has so much respect for John. I think is pretty much why.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, like I'm in my imaginary world mind, you know, when in action films, you know, if you're going to have something going on, an element like that hotel and the whole aspect of the Continental, my expectation would be like that just like in real life, you know, an organization like that, a hotel like that, you know, influenced by crime and like killing and assassins and all that, they would have like the harshest, strictest rules out there, you know, when it comes to stuff, you know. That's all my point is, Cyber. You know what I mean? You know, I'd imagine, you know, that if that actually was a real thing, you know, violating a rule like murder like that in the property would be like a real problem.
Touche, sir. All right. Great job, both guys. Both of you. Good job. Great explanation. Great thoughts. Excellent. All right, so let's get to the final portion of this awesome film. If I can get to it, come here. There we go. All right, so in conclusion, so the next day, Winston meets with John and explains that the Kimura has doubled the bounty on John's head, offering it globally. Further, for conducting business on Continental grounds per the High Table's rules, Winston is forced to declare John an excommunicado, terminating his privileges and access to underworld resources. However, due to their friendship, Winston delays the excommunicado status by 1 hour and provides him with a marker for future use. Before leaving, John tells Winston to warn every High Table assassin that he will kill everyone who tries to hunt him down. As John departs, Winston formally initiates the excommunicado contract process, setting it to go live in 1 hour. Increasingly tense, John begins running as phones around him start to ring. And that's how the film ends. Ooh. All right, guys. So, what are your guys' thoughts on the conclusion? That's the conclusion of this film. What are your guys' thoughts on the end here? You know, basically John getting excommunicado, Winston helping him out for an hour. You know, basically him saying, you know, telling them that he will kill every high assassin that comes after him. And basically we all know John can kick ass. We all know John is freaking insane and that he can do it. And that he just really, you know, is awesome and he could do that. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this final portion of the film? And I'll start with you, Jeff.
Yeah, you know, I think Cyber, when it comes to the other assassins and that element of John Wick and all that, it's the casting is really critical, you know, with that aspect, you know, and again, that was one thing where I felt like it was kind of subpar compared to the first film, and here in the sequel was you know, like again, you mentioned Common already, you know, I never cared for Common as an actor personally. You know what I'm saying? When I've seen him, you know, so I didn't really feel like he helped John Wick 2 all that much, to be honest with you, as an adversary or an opponent for John Wick. I wasn't all that into it. The end of the movie is okay. I mean, you know, it's believable, you know, within the realm of the franchise, you know, like the events of the movie and how it ends. of course, I mean, when it comes to, continuing the story and, projecting, going into doing a third film and all that, area, they did a good job, establishing or setting up, that next film, with that ending, right? So, I give credit to that, that thinking or structuring, like that, having like all the assassins out to get John Wick is definitely, a interesting, concept, to look forward to, for our next installment. You know what I'm saying? It's a concept you really can't go wrong with, right? With John Wick. As long as you have good assassins, lined up to, pursue him and try to kill him, in the first John Wick movie, they were very blessed to have some solid acting with the other assassins in that film, and they were some solid secondary characters, I mean, obviously, you're not gonna get, I forget his name right now, but you're not gonna get veteran, renowned actors like you have in the first John Wick film playing one of the assassins, as a secondary character, William Dafoe. You know what I mean? He adds a lot of value to the first John Wick film, right? As a secondary character, he adds a lot of value to that film. And John Wick 2 lacks that same value with its secondary characters. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like the film sort of loses, a little bit, in value or entertainment value, in this sequel. I think a lot of, is, the fact that the movie doesn't have those same valuable actors or secondary characters, working in the story in the film and everything, for us to work with. They're not there as much. I think that, overall, I feel like the tropes overall that they used in this story within the genre of action films and suspense films and things of that nature that they use in this film are pretty played out, in general. So like, I don't want to knock John Wick 2 a lot with that, because a lot of films, use played out tropes and stuff like that too, that does kind of like, I think hurt the movie a little bit, myself, and the story. Yeah, I mean, overall, I applaud, the things you mentioned about the movie Cyber at the beginning, like the budget that they made the money for, how much money they made off that budget and all that. I think it's very commendable, and respectable, and all that. But I definitely think that we've definitely all seen and reviewed a lot of sequels, that fell off compared to the first film. And for me, this is another one of those examples or situations where I kind of felt like that's what I ended up with from John Wick 2, but that happens, and it was still an entertaining movie. It's definitely watchable, right? It's a solid action movie.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Very action-packed. Yes, it is. All right, Mr. Pop Culture Guy, Mr. Time Lord, Time Cop, Time Everything. Your turn, sir. What did you think of the conclusion of John Wick, sir? Chapter 2.
Yes. I thought the ending was really good. I mean, just kind of answer, like we do get better casting at like similar roles to William Dafoe in terms of assassins later on in chapter 3 and chapter 4. Like, I mean, we get Donnie Yen later on in the chapter, so which is awesome. He's great in the next chapter, and not to go too far with the sequels, but we get better side characters and assassins in how you say it, and actors in this chapter. I agree with you, Jeff. Chapter 2, had probably the weakest casting of these characters that we have so far with this franchise. And just addressing the Ballerina came out this year, Jeff. John Wick Chapter 4 came out in 2023. So that's
okay. I'm just that's interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I did not realize, because sometimes I just don't pay attention. I didn't realize John Wick 4 came out already.
Oh yeah. It was in the summertime, and it's a great film. I think you guys will like it. I liked it. I saw it twice, which was great. But it didn't do well on the box office. It kind of just quieted down.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I didn't really hear anything about it. That could have a lot to do with it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I thought this ending was really great. You really see how Winston is a good friend to John, and I did appreciate that he hold off the SQB and Kana for him to to escape, but also give him a marker, which is kind of cool. But they kind of retcon that. We'll get into a chapter because he has another marker he has from a previous mission. So it was kind of funny that they had he gave him this marker. I totally forgot he did that. In this ending on my rewatch, because he doesn't use the marker that Winston gave him, so it was just another marker he had in the next movie we will review soon or later. But anyway, I think this ending was very good. I like the wrapped up. I'm it gets you excited for the next chapter, which is great because now John Wick doesn't have any connection or resources with the Continental or the resources that he usually gets. And that's the fun part about chapter 3 and chapter 4, is because he has to be very smart and use what he has in his disposal. And that's the fun part about the next chapters, where this movie is just, you see him in his element as a hitman. Here's all the access and resources he has, that he in his disposal, but now taking that away from him, how he's going to survive with all the assassins and all the hitmen that's going after him now. That's really exciting. So, but yeah, I agree. I think this is a good sequel from the first film, but it's not my favorite because I don't think they don't have the best side characters that I like in the first movie, like Winnie the Pooh or the Pakin's character, or even chapter 3, chapter 4, where we get more better side characters like Donnie Yen and Halle Berry. They're way better characters than what we got here in chapter 2. So yeah, but I still will rate this movie a little high because it's a great action film. It's still one of those good action films, and as a sequel, it delivers on expanding the universe, which is good. That's what a sequel should do. So that's my thoughts on the ending.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, I think the conclusion of the film was really decent. I like the whole process of the conversation that Winston has with John to allow him that hour in between excommunicado. I think that's really fantastic. I love that he says that anybody that comes towards me, I will take them out. I think is totally a John thing, he would say, and all that kind of good stuff. I think that was really fantastic. And I think that that conclusion where it shows him running and all the phones starting to go off and people showing, the new bounty and everything is really killer too. I think it's a really great way to set up John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. And I think that does a lot for this film. I think it ends really strong. I think it ends, going into, that there's going to be action right off the bat into the next film. So I think they did a really decent job with that. I think it's a really decent ending to the film. All right. Excellent. So that is the end of that John Wick Chapter 2. So what are you guys' wonderful ratings for this film? Starting with you, Jeff.
I'll give John Wick 2 a 6. Personally, it's just for me a major drop off from the first John Wick film, which I can't remember what I rated that, but I know it was a high number. Yeah, that's pretty much it, sir. I'll give it a 6.
All right, Andres.
Sorry, just answering it, but just question here. Anyway, I'll give this a 9 out of 10. It's a really top-notch action film, but it just lacks a couple things I liked about the first film, and especially as a John Wick fan, I've seen the other films, and it doesn't have a lot of my favorite things about the later films that they have that they're my favorite, and that's why they're my favorite movies of the John Wick series. So I'm giving it a very high rating because it's such a great filmmaking, top-notch action film. The action is really top-notch. The performances is great, and the story is good. It's a good sequel pickup for the first film, and they expand the universe, I say before, and expand the characters. Either or not they get killed. At least we got Lawrence Fishburne in this series, which is great because he's very funny. And he does become important thing in the plot here and there, especially in chapter 4. So to answer kind of Jeff, he was important here to get John to the museum and the gun, and that's it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on chapter 2. Very happy that we discussed this film tonight because I love John Wick. So thank you, Cyber, for picking this out.
You're welcome, sir. All right. I give it a 10 because I think it's a solid film. It's entertaining. It's enjoyable. I absolutely love it. I think that all the John Wicks are fantastic. And I just absolutely love this one. So I got to give it a 10. And to answer your question about the Continental from the world of John Wick, Jeff. Yeah, it was on Peacock. It ran for I think it was 5 episodes, something like that. It was very short. It was literally like a mini series, but it wasn't too bad. It was pretty decent. It was a nice little prequel thought process into the John Wick world. I
saw some advertisements that when it came out, so I knew it existed. You know what I'm saying? I just hadn't heard a lot about it since it came out.
Yeah. They're making another one.
Did they bring back any of the recurring actors or whatever to play their roles at the Continental for that show?
No. There was one. No, all of them are new cast, except for Winston is in that show, but it's not played by Ian McShane. It's by another actor.
They're supposed to all be young. They're all supposed to be in their 20s. Yeah. So they had young actors in it.
Okay, yeah. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be basically the series is supposed to be about the creation of the Continental, of how it began, and how Ian McShane's character Winston became the head of the New York Continental.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that concept all seems interesting. Honestly, I mean, you watched it, I didn't, Cyber, so I have no idea. It might have played out, very shittily as overall, but that concept itself, on face value, seems entertaining.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's entertaining. It was fun to watch. I think that it does a good job of giving you a little information about the John Wick history that you don't know. Other than that, it wasn't like, oh my God, it's so good. But at the same time, I think it still was entertaining enough to give us some information that we hadn't heard about in the John Wick universe.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't shock me at all or surprise me at all that the John Wick franchise would end up, on the small screen or in a TV television format type show eventually. I kind of thought it would happen, as it so often does these days. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Cyber, are we good, sir? Do you want me to go ahead and do our plugs so we can get out of here tonight?
We are done with John Wick Chapter 2, so I'll push it over to you to do plugs, sir.
All right. All right, Andres, the pop culture guy. We'll start with you, sir, and you can go ahead and plug your content. I know you've been busy because I've seen the notifications on my cell phone in the last 2 days and seen that you put a lot of content out.
Yeah.
You're paying to try menu items.
What's it called?
What was that? All right. Anyway,
It's
yes.
not like a commercial.
Yeah, that was creepy. I thought that was a ghost coming to kill us in cyberspace. But anyway, yes. We're already past October, folks. Anyway, this is Andre's Book Guy. Yes, I've been posting a lot of content today. Of course, Bonds related content, but also trailer reactions. So I just recently released my top 10 favorite James Bond gadgets. One of my favorite gadget that I like from either the movies from the James Bond series, either officially or unofficially. Right now I'm working on my View to the Kill 40th anniversary tribute. No live stream this Sunday, but next Sunday, the 30th, the last day of November, is going to be GoldenEye, folks. So please watch out. I got Jeff. I got a couple guests lining up for that, which is good. I need to get them back and say hopefully they're scheduled for the 30th still, so go from there. And shorts have been doing pretty good. Recently post another Brandon Fraser Q&A he did in the Montclair Film Festival I was at. He was with Stephen Colbert, who was like the moderator of it, so you can check out that clip. My last review was The Day of the Dead, the 1985 classic film by George Romero, so you can check that out. Tonight I'll probably do another review movie. We'll see. And some of the movie clips are from Predator, doing very well. The one clip from the Predator from the 87 film where he said one ugly motherfucker is reaching really high, 3.5K, which is amazing. Did not expect that one will be getting really big. So so that's what I'm going right now for my content. So please support me, Cyber and Jeff, for our content, so we can continue on. It was a blast, fellas, to review John Wick Chapter 2. Love the John Wick series, so it's great to talk about that. And if you want to check out the last two streamings of the James Bond stuff, there it is. Jeff and I did Thunderbolt. View to Kill I did with Matt and Tim from the Middleman Reviews. So please check that out.
Okay, sir. I will see you soon, very soon, for GoldenEye.
Yes, that's a good James Bond movie, so it's gonna be fun discussing that.
Yeah, from what I remember about it, I think I liked it when I saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's still good. It still holds up from today.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. At least we got a couple people there, so that's good.
All right, Cyber.
All right, folks. So if you enjoyed me moderating or if you enjoyed me on the panel, you can check out my solo content. You'll find me under Cyberneticshark. You'll find me on YouTube. That's my main base. I can see there my most recent trailer reactions for the upcoming Scream 7. If you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. If you haven't seen my One Battle After Another review, give that a whirl too as well. We'll be having more content out for that stuff soon for you guys too as well. Some more reviews and some more trailer reactions. Got quite a few coming for you, so keep your eyes out for those. My shorts, I keep on doing the Sora shorts. My most recent one, of course, is what was it? It's me and Jake Paul in a sitcom together, which I think is absolutely hilarious.
Oh my God.
I got complimented today by somebody that I know saying they've been loving these Soras, so check that out. If you haven't checked out my Good versus Evil one, which is absolutely hilarious, a little demon and angel on your shoulders talking to you, that's super funny. Did Power Rangers like type one there too as well, or Gundam, if whatever you're into. You got twin power going on there. Then, of course, my most recent mini review was for Black Phone 2, so if you haven't seen that, give that a whirl too as well. Definitely be having a full-length review for that soon. But just thank you, everyone, for watching. That keeps watching and keeps on subscribing. Just hit 1420 for subscribers, so just keep on trucking. Thank everyone for being a part of it. And keep on watching us here on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, and keep watching Andre's Pulp Culture Guy. We appreciate you all.
Most definitely. And thank you, Cyber. Great job moderating as always. Great job this week doing moderation. Hats off to you. And Andre's Pop Culture Guy. It's always great to live stream and record with you, sir. Shout out to folks that enjoy our movie reviews at the MCU's Bleeding Edge. And we'll be back together, the three of us, for It Welcome to Derry, episode 5, I think, next Wednesday. So we'll see everybody then, and I'll see you with Cyber and Andres then. Peace out, folks. God bless you.